2, 1.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense, because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic, okay? Just want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, the subscriber mode has been enabled for the first 5 minutes, meaning if you're not a subscriber, and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. I also have a much smaller YouTube channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos in the United States. The link to that channel is in the description. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel, whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined. I really appreciate your love and support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices, and those who watch from the clouds, including the haters. And it seems like the circus is ever expanding. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So tonight, I'm going to do a shout out to the mothers. Okay. So that's referring to those who are biological mothers, those who are adopted mothers, those who are grandmothers who have taken on mothering role, the aunts, even elder sisters. In short, any lady that played a positive role in someone's life. Okay. In my opinion, the mothers, actually the responsible mothers, they are the unsung heroines, okay? Because they are the ones that do the nurturing. They, um, no, they're many of them are the first one that they see, okay? Um, Mothers provide a lot of love and nurturing and patience, and sometimes um, tough love when necessary, because sometimes some of us tend to go astray. Now, one thing to bear in mind is, of course, not everyone has enjoyed a healthy relationship with their mom, so that could be a difficult situation. And then there are those like myself whose mothers have passed away. So always Mother's Day. For those people, Mother's Day is a bittersweet reminder that their mothers are no longer there, physically with them. Okay, it is not my intention to 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 add any more salt in the wounds. But one thing I would encourage you that is just to uh, keep fond memories regarding your mothers, um, those who are not physically alive with us. Now, before we can get into the main topic, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Now, my friend Miss Ali twisted a string, which she completed, which I have the opportunity to participate. And for those of you who are not familiar, she is content creator. Um, she does talk about multiple issues, and of course, it was she did a humor stream where she focused on her ops, and it seems like some of them have an obsession with her. Some of them have are frustrated because they wish to engage in intercourse with her, and it appears that they cannot deal with rejection. So what they do is they troll her, they harass her, and things of that nature. And of course, one of them is a person that's been identified as Mister. Now, I did not know. I mean, I knew that this person was kicked out of Rumble and kicked out of YouTube um, for harassment. I did not know that he was kicked out of TikTok as well. So actually, this person is a three-time loser. And of course, he's talking about, oh, he's going to have me deported. He's going to call ICE on me and things of that nature. Um, you know what? Go ahead, try. It's just going to make yourself more stupid than ever. But look, the fact of the matter is, this person has mental health issues. So I got to bear that in mind. Now, one of the individuals that she spoke about, someone I forgot who it is, but this is one person that's also obsessed with her, and he is morbidly obese. I mean, talking about weighing 500 pounds, which is basically more than twice me. And I've heard him speak, and it sounds like he's gasping for air. And I do feel sorry for him because, first of all, he is morbidly obese, so that means he's putting a lot of pressure on his heart. He's putting a lot of pressure on his joints and things of that nature. And if he doesn't take care of himself, he's going to die prematurely. And I don't wish that on anybody. But unfortunately, it does highlight the fact that we do have individuals here that are, that are crying for attention. People who obsess, people who consume food to the extent that they gain hundreds of pounds. So I'm not going to ridicule anyone that's dealing with that type of situation. That person needs deliverance. That person needs to have some sort of healthy self-esteem. And when it comes to Mister, he needs, first of all, he needs to get off of social media and deal with whatever trauma and rejection that he experienced. Will he do that? Most likely no. I mean, it's gonna continue to try. In fact, yesterday he tried to make his presence felt here. He tried to enter the platform. He was denied access, and should he try to gain access to this panel, he's going to be denied point blank. Okay, because This platform is for people who wish to engage in mature conversation. Okay, it's not here um, for people to bring on beefs. It's not. Shadow's not here for him to engage um, in stupidity. Oh, thank you. Good evening, Miss Elite, and again, thank you for allowing me on your platform. And so I'm just talking about what happened and with I forgot what is his name, but the guy that looked like it was like three times my weight. But the fact of the matter is, and this is something, and this is something that Miss Mo had discussed this in one of her streams, which is there's certain people, yes, Señor Payaso, okay, but no, when there's certain people that they don't try to create trauma, they don't try to get wretched, they try to work on positive content. It bothers the bejesus out of some people. Okay, it bothers them because it just highlights the fact how unsuccessful that they are. Okay, so the fact when you have individuals who talk about me getting deported, talk about that I'm old, talking about I'm senile, talking about calling me everything but a child of God. What you're doing is you just highlighted the fact how unhappy you are, how unsuccessful that you are. Okay, that the only way that you can get any satisfaction is by trying to ridicule someone that you never met, that you're never going to meet. Okay, look, the reality is a lot of these people, um, you're never going to meet. But you know what, Miss Ali, my mission is to be the best version of myself. Okay, so obviously I'm going to offend people just simply being the best version of myself. And you know what? It's their problem, not my problem. So, and unlike certain individuals, I'm able to take accountability when I'm wrong. Okay, because you know what? Because I actually have a moral compass that's not been disabled. Okay, and I was taught certain values. I was taught to treat people the same way I wanted to be treated. I was taught to be respectful with other people. Okay, thank you, thank you. But look, but the fact of the matter is this, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have a community of people who support me and support my content. Okay, and I don't see. I don't take that for granted. Okay, because the reality is this: people can go to literally hundreds of thousands of different channels to support. So the fact that there are people that consume my content, um, it just feel it just touches my heart, and it also grounds me that I need to try harder to produce content that people can enjoy. Now, are there going to be times that we're going to disagree? Absolutely, we're going to disagree. But the difference is we're able to have mature conversations with people that we disagree with. Okay. And you can learn from disagreements as long as you are open minded and you're at least willing to listen to what other people are going to say. You may not agree with it, and some of the things that people do, um, I'm not going to be in full agreement. Exactly, Miss Ali. Exactly. It's okay to disagree. Okay. Because what you're doing is you are expressing a point of view. Okay. And one thing I was taught, well, among many things, is that you can learn from disagreements. Okay. You can learn from disagreements. And I'm not, and I don't have a problem admitting when I'm wrong. I mean, I'm very, I mean, I'm humble. I think I'm humble enough to acknowledge when I make a mistake. I take accountability. Now, I have a saying, it's not good English, but I think it's appropriate. When you mess up, fess up. In other words, when you make a mistake, you take accountability from that mistake and you learn to do better. Okay. And yes, it is okay to disagree. Okay. So, so with that being said, we're going to get to the next topic. Now, let me just state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Has should anyone that wishes to engage in the topic, anyone other than Mister and other people that have been banned, they're more than welcome to hit the link and hop on the panel and express their point of view. Now, as always, if I don't know you, if I never heard from you or seen you, um, I will. Oh, good evening. So I think this is Femi. Good evening. Thank you very much for stopping by, and I'm really honored by your presence. So, if I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage to make sure that no one flashes anything inappropriate, which will cause the people of YouTube to take down this stream. Okay. Now, tonight I'm doing a shout out for the mothers. Okay. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Like I said before, I'm looking forward to the opportunity that we can have a conversation. Okay. Whether be here, whether be in Mr. Lee's channel or even in your channel. Hopefully if you ever do a live, um, I will be allowed to hit the panel and express my point of view, so to speak. If not, I understand because it is your channel and I do have to respect how you do things over there. But getting back to the subject, tonight I'm honoring all the women that have played a major positive role in other people's lives. So, okay, thank you. So I'm talking about not just the biological mothers, not just the adoptive mothers, um, also the grandmothers, the aunts, elder cousins, elder sisters, um, all those who've actually played a positive role in someone's life. Now, when it comes to Mother's Day, um, depending on what is your mindset, it is a happy time. because you are spending time with mom, you're doing things for your mother. Maybe you're taking your mother out to dinner or what have you, or maybe you're spending quality time. Okay, so and of course every day we should honor our mothers. Every day, every day. We shouldn't just wait until um, the second Sunday of May to honor our mothers. Now, in the Dominican Republic, Mother's Day is on the final Sunday of May. So they do things so in the Dominican Republic, they do things differently, but they honor their mothers. Okay. And when you think about mothers, um, for many of us, they're the first people that we see. Okay. They are the first example of love. They are the first example of nurturing. They're the first example of guidance. And mothers, responsible mothers, um, they will sacrifice whatever for their children. And they have a great deal of empathy towards their offspring. Okay. And one thing that one thing, uh, Femi, I don't know if you are a parent, but I'm sure if you have children, you probably would agree with me. It's like, um, you will do a lot for your own children. I don't know if you have any children, so please excuse me if for my ignorance. But the responsible moms will will do virtually everything to make sure that their children are taken care of, make sure that their children are fed and clothed and what have you. And a lot of the times they want to protect their offspring um, from the problems and the hurts and things of that nature. We also have to bear in mind that not everyone has a good positive relationship with their mothers. There are some of us who have been estranged from our mothers. There are some of us who haven't spoken to our mothers in months, if not years, because of whatever issues that are involved. Now, let me just share with you. Okay. Now, this person that you see in front of me, this is my oldest sister, Doris. Um, Unfortunately, she passed away almost 5.5 years ago. She died of stage 4 lung cancer. And one thing about my sister, she was definitely a strong lady. And unfortunately, she's gone through a lot of pain and grief in her life. And she had witnessed losing her only son, which is good evening, Donna Mama. Thank you very much for stopping by. Well, thank you. I mean, look, she is in a better place. Okay. She's no longer suffering. Okay. So she's like one of my, one of my angels and things of that nature. So now I'm going to share with you another picture. Now, this lady that you see in front of me, she was my mom. Okay. And I will say this, my mom was a strong lady, a tough lady, a loving lady. Okay. And she had been through a lot. Unfortunately, she had dealt with my father being unfaithful, and she also experienced a lot of personal losses in her life. She had buried four of her children. Okay, and for a mother, for a parent, to lose a child, that's one of the most painful things that any parent can go through. And my mother went through this 4 times. Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, Miss Lee, the men in my family have a reputation of being womanizers. So I decided when I saw that happening with my father, my grandfather, and my uncles, I decided, thank you, Donna Mom, I decided not to follow their example. And to this day, I have not been that way. But when my mother passed away, I took her loss very hard. Uh, I don't see. I really do not know. I do know that there is a certain thing called machismo in our culture, and it seems like it teaches the men to have more than one lady at the side. But the problem is when you are in a relationship, you got to deal with everything. You got to deal with all the idiosyncrasies and the issues. So dealing with one woman is enough. When you're dealing with multiple women, I don't know. That's just asking for trouble. Okay. But going back, my mother installed on me the values that I keep that I hold today. Okay. And she will forever live in my heart. And I just want to say a few words in Spanish to my mom. Um, Mami, solamente decir que te la extrañamos mucho. Yo sé que tú estás en el cielo con papi y con nuestros hermanos. Te hace mucha falta, pero tú siempre vivirás en mi corazón. Y la verdad, tú has siempre sido el mejor madre. Y fue bendecido conocerte. Bendición, mami. So, so going, so, so going back, this time for some people, Mother's Day, it's bittersweet. Particularly if this is the first Mother's Day without your mom. Okay, thank you. And look, I went through that in 2021 um, when my mother passed away, and I took her loss very hard. But basically what you do learn is that as you get older, it's not like you completely forget. It's like you learn how to deal with the loss. And one thing I do say, um, I would encourage anyone that's having issues with your mom, please do what you can to try to be reconciled if you can. Don Armando, I really am sorry for your loss. And to be honest, look, I do not know. I cannot hope to know what you went through and what you've gone through with your mother's passing because everyone deals with grief differently. That is true, Miss Lee. You only get one mom, which is why I encourage if you can try to be reconciled with your mom, because the fact of the matter is once your mom's gone, that's it. It's like you're losing a part of you. Okay, but see, that is so true. That is so true. But when you think about mothers, they're there to encourage us. They are there to challenge us. Um, they're also there to give us wisdom, how to deal with life, and also how to deal with the opposite sex. Now, the reality is that we do have a great deal of single moms. Okay, but we have to understand that there are many ways that a woman can become a single mom. Some of them become single moms because the husband passed away or the father passed away. So other ways that a woman can become single mom is through divorce. Another way is that is that unfortunately the woman had to leave because of abuse. And when I think about abuse, there's different types of abuse. There's physical abuse, there's sexual abuse, there's financial abuse, there's emotional abuse, and also betrayal. Okay, because one thing we have to bear in mind is that not everyone is wired to have a monogamous relationship with one person. And one thing you do a disservice with your partner if you know in your heart of hearts that you have no intention of maintaining a monogamous relationship, then be the responsible adult and say so. If you're the type of person that you cannot be tied down to one person because of whatever reason, then don't try to fake it because all you're doing is you're causing a lot of grief on the person that you're with. You're also causing a lot of grief with the children. Okay. And the children are they are the victims here. Okay. Because they don't understand why daddy is not in the picture. They don't understand why daddies doesn't come see them. They don't understand why daddy's not with mommy. And sometimes children have issues of low self-esteem, and sometimes children blame themselves for the fact that daddy is not in the picture. Okay, and it's not their fault. It's just unfortunately children are not able to rationalize the fact that there might have been issues where they couldn't resolve. So they tend to internalize it. Okay. But one thing about mothers, and I'm going to say, when I say mothers, I'm going to say responsible. Okay. So I'm referring to those who are responsible. I'm not referring to the ones that are not responsible because unfortunately we have mothers who are not responsible. We have mothers who don't provide the love and the nurturing whatever. And unfortunately, we have mothers who abuse their children. And many times that happens because the mothers have issues that they never dealt with, issues of abuse and neglect. They may have been abused by their own mothers. So what happens is if that issue does not get addressed, guess what happens? The cycle continues. And that is really sad. Whenever anyone has issues that they don't address, and then what they do is they take those issues into a relationship and it infects the relationship. And sometimes some women, they'll take whatever trauma and bring a relationship with their children, and sometimes they make poor choices. And again, I'm going to say that sometimes because I'm not going to say, oh, single mothers are bad. Okay, there are some great single moms. There are some moms that done a fantastic job, dealing with the challenges of having to work and things of that nature. Good evening, Riza. Thank you very much for stopping by. So tonight is a shout out to the mothers. Okay. And when I mean mothers, I'm referring to all the women that have played a positive role in someone's life. Whether you be a biological mother, whether you be an adopted mother, whether you be a grandmother, an aunt, an older sister, or older cousin, or just simply a lady who has shared her wisdom with someone. Okay, because you don't have to be a biological mother to be a positive motherly image. You can be without children, but yet if there are people that look up to you as a positive role mother, you are a mother to them. Okay. I mean, I have no children, but when I have what I call cyber children, and I try to be a positive role model to them. So just because you have never gave birth does not take away the fact that you may have provided a positive role model experience for someone. So yes, thank you. But And I can and I recall my mother. Um, she made it perfectly clear to me that I could achieve anything that I wish if I have the drive, if I have the desire, if I have the determination. And there have been times where I feel like giving up. My mother was there to encourage me not to give up, but to keep trying. Okay. So a mother is all. I mean, the responsible moms. They're also like they're like cheerleaders in a way, encouraging us and challenging us to be the best version of ourselves. Now I know that there are people that will talk crap regarding single moms. Okay, I mean there are some single moms that are not responsible, but there are others who are. Okay, and one thing to bear in mind: just because one mother was not responsible, you cannot paint a broad brush and call all single mothers the same way. Okay, no, but my mother. I mean, let me tell you something. She can love us, but at times she would put the fear in God for us when we misbehave. Yes, she did. Okay, she put the fear in God of us. Okay, and and I remember my mother in her 80s talking to my nephews, and I remember what my mother used to say to them, which is the following: if you're going to spend any time with the ladies, make sure that you bring your party hat. Okay. In other words, be prepared if you're going to engage. I mean, I no, engage in a type of activity. Be responsible, but in all fairness, that should be safe until marriage. But we know, unfortunately, that's not the case. But my mother, I mean, would share her knowledge with my nephews and nieces and with my siblings about life and what to experience. Okay, because my mother's childhood was very hard. Okay, first of all, growing up in Puerto Rico. Now, my grandparents from my mother's side, they got divorced. So, so it really affected my mother, and particularly the fact that to see my grandmother share her bed with another man, okay, which is something was very difficult to accept. And I remember um, what my mother used to tell me, which was the reason why she stayed with my father is because she didn't want her children to see herself in bed with another man other than their father. So that's one of the reasons why my mother, stayed with my father, even though my father was unfaithful. And my parents were married for almost 64 years. Now think about it. Okay, 64 years. That's dedication. That's 64 years of stability, 64 years. Now, of course, nowadays people divorce themselves, get divorced for reasons. Okay, and I'm not going to get into the why, because people, there are reasons why people get divorced. But the fact that my mother stayed with my father for almost 64 years, and the only reason why the marriage ended was because of death. Okay. And within the last 3 years, um, my mother's health started to deteriorate. Um, she's been through multiple health conditions. Um, Within the last year of her life, um, she was barely able to walk around the apartment with a walker. And there have been times when she slipped and fell, she needed assistance to get up. And when my mother was hospitalized, of course, this was in the middle of COVID. So I took my mom to the ER, and unfortunately, I couldn't stay with her because of the situation with COVID-19. So just picture this, an elderly woman alone in the ER. My mother must have been scared. And unfortunately, due to the due to her illness, her left leg was amputated not once but twice. And then my mother had a stroke. And as a result of the stroke, she entered into a vegetated state. And my mother was in hospice care the last month of her life. And it was not easy because, unfortunately, my mother did not have a healthcare proxy. So that means all four of us had to be in agreement regarding how to deal with my mother's healthcare issues. And it was fortunate we were all in agreement. We didn't argue, we didn't struggle, fight, what have you. So we made the decision that she will go home, be in hospice care, and that the last remaining weeks of her life she will be home. So she was under 24-hour care. We all took turns, you know, feeding our mother, bathing our mother, things of that nature. And I remember it was a Sunday. I got a phone call that my mother was transiting. In other words, that my mother was dying. So I got to the apartment. I was delayed a little bit by my sister because they wanted to prepare me. And by the time I actually got to see my mother had passed away. And we took her passing very hard, particularly me, because I was very close to my mom. So we had to make sure tend to the funeral arrangements, and of course, with COVID we couldn't open it up to uh, people other than the family. And I have requested that there'll be no pictures in social media, and that no one will post anything until the entire family was notified. Unfortunately, there were some images posted, and my grandnephews learned about my mother's passing through social media. And I really feel bad for them because I found out about my brother's passing through Facebook. And I did not like it at all. The fact that I found out about my brother's passing in social media. It's like how dare you post something without letting me know? So we had our services, and my mom was buried. And of course, um, we're coming to 5 years that my mom passed away. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. But she will forever live in my heart. Okay. My mother was the perfect example of a loving mother, supportive mother. Okay. Mother who encourages, a mother who corrects. Which is why I say to you, if you are estranged from your mother, do try, do try to be reconciled. If your mother doesn't want to be reconciled with you, at least you tried. But many times we do not understand or appreciate the sacrifices that our mothers go through because we don't see it. Okay. And I think part of it is that they do it, it's that they want to shield us from what they have to go through. Okay. Yeah. But the fact of the matter, look, yes, my mother's in heaven, so is my father, so is four of my siblings, and two of my nephews. In fact, let me just. Okay. So this is. Okay. So this person is my oldest brother. George. He was the first one to pass away. He was only 37 years old when he passed away. The next one to pass away was my nephew, Christopher. He was only 25 when he was killed in a car accident. Then this gentleman over here was my old man, my father. He was 83 years old when he passed away. This young person over here is my brother Jesus. He was 49 years old when he died of cardiac arrest. This other person here is my older brother Albert. He passed away at 56 from renal failure. This is my older sister Doris. She passed away January 2020 from stage 4 lung cancer. This is my mother, Gloria Negron. She passed away 6 months later. And this is my nephew, Jimmy, who passed away February of last year. So those are my family's angels. Okay. So I hope I hope that you please forgive me if I tend to talk about this. It's just that, like I said before, when it comes to Mother's Day, it just serves to remind me of the fact that my mother's not here physically, but she's in heaven and she lives in my heart. So I hope you forgive me if I tend to go on a little bit. But again, when it comes to mothers, they are heroines in my book. Okay? Because because we will never, we won't know or we won't appreciate what our mothers go through until we become parents ourselves, or until we become adults, or when our mothers are no longer physically there in the picture. And I think part of it is that our mothers tried to protect us from the evil that's out there, because we have to deal with the fact that there are evil people out there in this world. There are people that will try to take advantage of us. There are people that try to abuse us, that try to attack us. So mothers are the protected type. I mean, look, don't even think about trying to harass cubs when mama bear is around. Because let me tell you something, mother bear will defend her cubs to the death. Okay. Responsible mothers will love and protect their children, to do whatever. There is no sacrifice that's too big for them. There's no sacrifice that's too great for them. And that is the reality about moms. And I think when it comes to a motherly love, it is the closest thing to God's love. The closest thing. Now, I've been talking for over an hour, about an hour. So, sir, anyone wishes to hit the link and express their thoughts regarding the topic, by all means. If you don't feel like hitting the link, I get it. Um, you're more than welcome to enter your comments in the chat. If no one hits the link or no one add any further comments, I will start to wrap this up. It's just that it's very important that we recognize mothers. It is very, very important. Okay. Now one thing I notice that when it comes to holidays, other than Christmas and Thanksgiving, the big one is Mother's Day. Okay. Everyone will remember to visit mom or call mom. Everyone will remember to take their mom out. And I think it's a good thing. But you should not wait until the second Sunday of May to acknowledge your mom. You should not wait until the second Sunday of May to say how much you love your mom. That should be something that she said every day. Okay? Because mothers are like one of God's greatest gifts to us. Okay? And many times we don't appreciate it until our mothers are no longer there. And then when our mothers are gone, we think about, man, I wish mom was here to give me some advice. I wish mom can hear, I can talk to, and things of that nature. And most mothers, instead of giving them flowers, instead of taking it out to dinner, they just want they want your company. They want your presence. Okay. Particularly when they get old. Because think about it. For a mother to grow old, and it's been weeks or months or even years that they have not seen their children. Do you know how sad and depressing it is for them? Especially in I don't know. Pugster, okay, this is a serious discussion, so I hope that you're going to treat it seriously. Otherwise, you can be removed. Okay, you know what? Thank you. Thank you. Because look, let me tell you something. This is a serious topic, and really, I don't have time to engage with stupidity from the circus. Okay. And again, if you don't like the topic, why are you here? Okay, you know what? Thank you. Look, I'm only going to say this, and I'm only going to say this once. If you don't have anything positive to say regarding thank you. All I'm gonna say is, you know what? Don't let the good Lord hit you, or the good Lord split you. Okay. But going back, mothers are, mothers are a blessing. They truly are. They truly are. And they will, the responsible moms will do just about anything to make sure that their children are okay. Okay. And in my book, they are the unsung heroines. Yes, they are. And my mother, who had a little limited education, but she made sure that we were well fed. She made sure that we were clothed. She made sure that she taught us values. She made sure that we knew that we had a loving home. And I have been truly blessed to have an exemplary mom like my mother. And it's unfortunate that we have people that their moral compass is, has been damaged. But you know what? Be it, but it is what it is. But I will start to wrap this up. And if you forget anything that I have said tonight, please remember the following. Moms are heroines, particularly those who have to become single moms through no fault of their own. Okay, because the father passed away, or the father abandoned them, or the father um, abused them, or what have you. They are heroes. They are heroines. Okay, and at times we don't understand what they do for us. The very least you can do is realize that mothers do what they do out of love for you, out of love for your siblings. And if they make mistakes, forgive them. Okay? because what they do or what they try to do, it is for our well-being. Now, you shout out to the 10 people watching this stream. Please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it does help with the algorithm. So, if you forget anything else, please remember that those of you who mothers are alive, they love you, they care for you, they want nothing but the best for you. And for the women that have not been the best mothers in the world, forgive them. Okay? Because we don't know. Okay. So as I was saying, so if your mother was not the best mother in the world, forgive them if you can, because again, we don't know what they went through. So, with that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this up. Of course, please share the stream. Okay, as long as you're not going to use it to attack anybody, play back in, do your thing. Okay, and just remember, take the time um, to talk to your mom, show your mom your love. Okay, no problem. And when they get old, be patient with them, because what happens is sometimes when they get old, their attention span is shortened, and you are placed in a situation where you have to look after your mom. Okay, so be patient. So the next time I'll be live will be on Friday with my episode, my open discussion, because unlike certain people, I have a live, and I'm going to be involved in activities tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, so I'm going to enjoy myself, and please be good to let's be good to our moms, and let's be good to each other. And I'm going to close the same way that I always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we would be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. As you can see, um, one member of the circus tried to disrupt and was not successful. And I just want to say, may all of you have a very truly blessed Mother's Day. Les deseo un feliz Día de las Madres a todos a ustedes. So, with that being said, take care, have a good night, and peace.